Hello viewers, this is Dow Too Fast here. I'm really excited to show you this newest car dash camera from the company IROAD. This one I have here is the IROAD X9. Now if you have not heard of the company IROAD, they have been a leading dashcam manufacturer since 2009. This IROAD X9 has excellent performance with great daytime and nighttime recording. It's also packed with all the important features you want on a dashcam. It has a front and rear camera and records both simultaneously. Now both cameras record in Full HD 1080p at 30 frames per second. The front camera uses a Sony Starvis image sensor, which uses a back illuminated pixel technology for excellent nighttime recording. The rear camera uses a Sony Exmor image sensor, which also has great image quality. This dashcam also comes with two power cables. One is a standard cigarette lighter plug, and the other one is a Hardwire kit, which you can wire directly to your fuse box for a proper working parking mode. Now in this video I will show you the unboxing of this unit and also the configuration using the mobile app. At the end of the video I will also show you how to properly install this front rear camera system using the Hardwire cable, so sit back and enjoy this video. Let me open this up and I'll show you what comes with this unit. Here's a quick start guide. This is the IROAD X9. This is the rear camera. This is a 32GB microSD memory card. This is the 12V cigarette lighter power cable. This is the Hardwire kit. This is a USB cable to connect to the rear camera. This is a GPS antenna. Mounting plate, double-sided tape. Here's a look at everything you get with this unit. Let's have a closer look at this IROAD X9 dash cam. On the right is the front camera. This camera uses the Sony Starvis image sensor, which has excellent daytime and nighttime image quality. The lens you see here is all glass, and it's a 150-degree wide-angle lens. You can also rotate this camera lens. So after you install it, you can rotate this to adjust the viewing angle. On the front is the LED status light. On the left side here, this is a USB Wi-Fi dongle. On the back, this is a DC power input. Next to it is the micro USB connector for connecting the USB cable that goes to the rear camera. This is the connector for your GPS antenna. Next to it is a rubber flap. You can open this up. And this is where you install the microSD memory card. Now this unit comes with a 32GB microSD memory card. Now this unit supports up to 128GB of memory size. And to give you an idea how much recording time you get with these memory card, for a 32GB size, you can record 4 hours. For a 64GB size, you can record 8 hours. And for a 128GB size, it can record 16 hours. Looking at the bottom, here is a record LED. Next to it is a GPS LED. At the bottom here is a Wi-Fi registration button. Next to it is a power button. Looking at the top of the unit, this is where you place your windshield mounts. The windshield mount has a double-sided tape on top. All you have to do is place this on top of the unit and slide this to the right. If you want to remove the dash cam, just slide this out and it'll come off. Now there are a lot of great features built into this unit. For example, it has a road safety warning system, which includes LDWS or lane departure warning system, FCWS, which is forward collision warning system, and FVDW, which is front vehicle departure warning. The unit also has voice prompt, so it will verbally tell you what the dash cam is doing, which makes it very user-friendly. It also has an automatic rebooting function, and with a reboot it will check for memory card error and organize the recorded data. Here's a look at the rear camera. It uses a Sony Exmor CMOS sensor. The lens you see here is a 145-degree wide-angle lens. On this side is a micro USB connector, where you connect the USB cable that connects to the dash cam. Built into the camera is the window mount with a double-sided tape. You can rotate this to adjust the viewing angle. Let me go over how to connect everything together. Here we have two power cables. This is your standard cigarette lighter plug. On the other end of this cable, you have this connector. You plug it into the DC input of the dash cam. This other power cable is your hardwire kit. Here we have 3 wires. The yellow wire connects to constant 12 volt. The black wire is chassis ground, and the red wire is ignition 12 volt. On the other end of the cable, you have the same connector that you plug into the dash cam. Over here is a GPS antenna. Plug this into the GPS connector right here. Lastly, we have this USB cable for connecting to the rear camera. Now you'll notice one end of the USB cable is angled. This one plugs into the dash cam. The other end of this cable will plug into the camera right here. And these are the connections you need for the installation. To install the mobile app, go to your Google Play Store or Apple App Store. Search for the IROAD app, which has a logo like this. Install it. Next, turn on the Wi-Fi on your mobile device and open the app. Here it asks you if you wish to register the car DVR. Yes. Here it found the IROAD X9 device. Now press a Wi-Fi registration button.
Standby mode for the registration.
Now press a device.
Complete the registration.
Press save. Here you're looking at the main menu of this app. There's settings, add, connect, and delete. If you press connect,
users connected.
Right now you're looking at the live video from the front camera. Tap the screen. You can select rear camera. There's the live video from the rear camera. You can select home.
User access disabled.
If you want to add another IROAD dashcam to this app, you can select add. If you want to delete this device from the app, you can select delete. Let's go into settings. Select camera. Select front cam. The resolution of the front camera is 1080p. Brightness is default. If you press this button, you'll change it to brightness more, brightness less, back to default. Night vision is enabled. Event recording is 30 frames per second. The normal recording is 30 frames per second. This is the normal recording that happens when you're driving. Now if you want to change the frames per second, you can press a button here. You can change it. Let's go back. Let's go back into camera. Select rear camera. Here you can change a setting for the rear camera. Time. This is the automatic reboot function of the dashcam. By default is enabled. Now it's hard to see here, but you can specify and change the time of the reboot. Now with the reboot, it will check the memory card for any errors and also organize the recorded data. Let's go back. System. The audio record is enabled. Recycle is enabled. Event buzzer is disabled. Use LBP or low battery protection is enabled. So if you hardwire this dash cam to the car battery, when the car battery drops a certain voltage, it will shut off the dash cam. Power on is set to 13.1 volts. If you tap this button, you can change this. Power off is set to 11.3 volts. ADAS. If you want to enable the ADAS function, which is the Advanced Driver Assistance Systems, just press this button right here. And this will automatically enable the lane departure warning system, front vehicle start alarm, and the forward collision warning system. If you want, you can individually disable these functions. You can also set the lane departure speed detection right here. Default is 50 kilometers per hour, 60, 70, back to 50. You can set the sensitivity of the lane departure detection, medium and higher. And same thing for the collision detection. Let's go back. Events. For event recording, shock detection is enabled, parking mode is enabled, motion detection is enabled, and you can individually disable these if you want. You can specify the post-event recording time. Default is 20 seconds. You can also specify the event recording storage. So right now the event storage for the parking mode recording is 0% and the normal recording is 100%. You can manually set the memory size for the parking mode recording. After you set this, you do need to reboot the unit and format the memory card. You can also set the sensitivity of the impact detection while driving, and you can also set the sensitivity of the impact detection while the vehicle is parked. Let's go back. Info. Here you can set the car info name, driver info, serial number, and this is a firmware version. Go back, go back. Now we're back to the main menu. Now it's important to know that you do not need to have this app open for the dashcam to operate. Every time you start your ignition, the dashcam will power on and begin recording. And when you turn off the ignition, the dashcam will power off. Now if you enable the motion detection in the parking mode, once the device detects any movement within 3 meters range, it will start to record. And once there's no more movement, it will go back to the regular parking mode recording. Now I'll take this to the car and show you how to install it. First we'll install the dashcam onto the windshield, remove the backing on the double-sided tape, and then we stick this directly onto the windshield. Next you can slide the dashcam to the right and remove it off the mounting plate. This will make it easier to plug all the cables into the unit. Here I'll plug in the GPS antenna, the USB cable for the rear camera. For this install I'll be using the Hardwire kit. Once the cables are connected, you slide this back onto the mounting bracket. In this vehicle there's a plastic cover right above the rear view mirror. This helps hide the wire that goes to the headliner. I'm going to go ahead and remove this cover. Then I'll bring the wire from the dash cam up to the headliner. Place that cover back on. Here's a look at the wires going up to the headliner with the cover installed. I will run the wire for the GPS antenna up to the headliner and over to the passenger side, and that's where I'll install the GPS antenna that you see right here. The other 2 wires for the power and USB cable to the rear camera, I'll run to the driver's side. At the corner of the windshield on the passenger side, this is where I'll install the GPS antenna. Now I'll run the other 2 cables over to the A-pillar on the driver's side. Pull back the weather stripping. Pop this interior trim out. Now for this SUV, the rear camera cable is not long enough for you to run it down to the kick panel all the way to the back of the vehicle. So what I'll do is run this rear camera cable up along the edge right here. Now you need to be careful and keep the cable away from the side curtain airbag. Here I have the power cable running down to the fuse box with the rear camera cable. I pull the cable behind the side curtain airbag right here. You don't want it in front because the airbag's going to go out this way. So I'm going to run this wire behind the airbag and along the edge. Now we can put this cover back on. Run the power cable along the side here down to the fuse box. Now reinstall the weather stripping. Run the rear camera cable along the side all the way to the back of the vehicle. I have the cable running all the way to the back. Next I'll tuck this cable underneath this weather stripping all the way to the middle. Now if you have extra cables, you can tuck it behind the headliner. Next I'll install the rear camera. It's very easy. The window mount has a double-sided tape. Remove the backing and then you stick this directly onto the window. Now make sure you do not stick the window mount onto the defrost line, because if you have to remove this later on, it might damage the defrost line. Now you can plug the USB cable into the camera. Open the fuse box cover. Bring the 3 wires into the fuse box. To find out which fuse you can use for ignition 12 volt and constant 12 volt, you should look at the cover of your fuse box. It will identify what components are for each fuse. So for example, on this vehicle, the power socket accessory 1 is ignition 12 volt, and then the electrical parts bat 2 is constant 12 volt. You should also verify it with a multimeter. So for example, if I test the 10 amp fuse, I have 12 volt. To properly tap a wire into your factory fuse box, you should be using these type of fuse taps. With this, it allows you to keep your existing fuse in the circuit and also add an additional circuit for your accessory. When you remove the factory fuse from this location, you want to take that fuse and plug it into the bottom spot right here, and then we'll plug this fuse tap into the fuse box. The yellow wire goes to constant 12 volt, so I'll crimp this end to my fuse tap. Now I'm going to remove this and then plug the original fuse into this bottom slot. Now before you plug the fuse tap into the fuse box, you want to take your multimeter and test which side the voltage is coming in on. So on the right side, I have 12 volt. On the left side, 0 volt. That tells me voltage is coming in on the right side. It goes through the fuse and then goes out on the left side. So on this vehicle, I'll need to plug this fuse tap in this direction. Voltage is going to come in on the right side, go through the fuse, and go out on the left side. For the red wire that goes to ignition 12 volt, same thing, crimp this end to the fuse tap. Remove that 20 amp fuse. Get your multimeter, test which side is coming in on. Once you know which way it needs to go ahead and plug the fuse tap into the fuse panel. And here's a look at the fuse box with the 2 fuse taps installed. Put the cover back on. Now the last connection you need to make is this ground wire. It already has a ring terminal at the end. I'll connect this to a bolt that's right behind the hood release. Start the car up.
Drive first to start recording. Safe driving.
Open the app, select connect to look at the live view.
Users connected.
Now you can adjust the camera lens. We'll check out the rear camera. I'll go to the back and adjust the rear camera. You can go back home.
User access disabled.
I'm going to exit the app, turn off the ignition. After I turn off the ignition, it'll go into parking mode.
Records in parking mode.
With the dashcam in parking mode, the front LED will flash slowly. If it detects any motion in front of the vehicle, the front LED will flash very quickly and start the event recording, which is 1080p at 30 frames per second. The event recording will continue as long as it detects motion. Now with the IROAD X9 dashcam installed, I'm going to test this dashcam over the next several weeks. I will make a second video to show you the daytime and nighttime video recording along with the parking mode recording. So stay tuned for that video. So far I can tell you I really like this dashcam. Here's a quick look at the video recording. As you can see, the quality is very good. As far as features, design, and build quality, this is definitely one of the best dashcams on the market. I should also mention this unit can operate in very high temperature environment. The operating temperature is between minus 30 to 80 degrees Celsius or minus 22 to 176 degrees Fahrenheit. This is important for those of you who live in hot climate places. Now at the time of doing this review, this IROAD X9 retails for $380. You can get it from BlackBoxMyCar and also their Amazon store. Now do check their website as they often have sales and discounts. I will include the links in the description. I hope you enjoy watching this video. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave it in the comment section. And don't forget to click on a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.